Good morning, Lionelville. Welcome to another fun Ryan and Dave, Megan and Corey team effort production. We've got the actual experts here with us today to keep us in line, Dave. It's always good.
What time is it? Train time.
It's train time. It's time for us to reshoot that video or have them digitally put some gray hairs back in us on that intro. I think
no joke.
We are getting old. All right. But what is not old is our October release. So our last big release for the year. Lots of fun, good stuff to cover in here. We've got some high end. We've got some ready to run sets. We've got some made in USA cars and motorized units. So let's just dive into it. There's a whole lot to get to in this one. Give our first pitch of upcoming events here. We have, of course, National Lionel Train Day, as you see here, coming up December 6th. Please see your local dealers. Many of them have fun things planned for the first Saturday in December. Also, while we're talking events, the end of this month, several of us will be in Milwaukee for Train Fest. Come on out and see us there. We will have the samples of the AC9s that we have here on the table in front of us there. Hopefully some additional samples from this catalog, the 080s from September release, lots of other goodies on display in the booth. So make sure to come and see us at the end of this month, first weekend in November in Milwaukee for Train Fest. Look forward to seeing you there. First up in the catalog, K4s. If you are a fan of Penske, we've got your Ks covered here. Dave, I want to, before I get into all the fun nitty gritty of the many different variations we've done on the K4 here, this really is almost an entirely new locomotive. About the only thing we kept was the tender from our last release. So you've put a lot of effort into the redesign on here, both the diecast versions and the brass hybrid versions. So I'll let you kick off.
Why, thank you. I think anybody that might be familiar with our older K4 knows that it was a little out of scale proportion-wise, especially when it comes to the firebox area. It was about the length of an entire K4. So we have retooled this locomotive completely. You'll see here in a little while the regular diecast version as well. But the locomotive itself is a ground-up, all-new design and tooling. So we have the new frame, new chassis, die-cast that does incorporate a new designed gearbox, getting away from the old style with the motor directly connected to the worm and instead having the separate dog bone or wishbone in there for a little bit more reliable operation. So and then going up from there, all of these locomotives, whether brass or die-cast, are going to have your switches located underneath a hatch on top, typically the sand dome. You're going to have all of the drop plates in between the locomotive and tender. You're going to have other new features. One feature we've been adding to a lot of our steam engines the past couple of years and other engines in this catalog as well is the force coupler feature. So when you are using the locomotive and it automatically detects a change on load on the drawbar, it will adjust the sounds of labor. So whether it'll sound more throaty or chuff or harder work or, light chuff or going downhill or something like that. And then we also have some other fun features here. I mean, bicolors were appropriate, though most of these are going to have the amber and red marker lights or class lights. That would be normal for Penske of this era. Mm-hmm. So a lot of other fun features as well. All your typical lighting and your crew talk is going to be specific on the brass hybrids and other fun details. I mean, these are really good looking locomotives, and a lot of these brass hybrids I'm really into with the Skyline casing and the elephant ears. I think they're pretty good selections.
Yeah, so as Dave mentioned, whole new engine from the ground up and lots of great features. You also have the kinematic drawbar in there in addition to the force coupler, so that's another nice one. Whether it's die-cast or brass, you're going to have all of that in there. The brass hybrids, the additional features that you get with that, obviously you have a brass constructed boiler and top half of the locomotive really, which when we look at the pilot models, you'll see very clearly. And you get the road number specific crew talk as well on those.
Yep.
but they all have whistle steam. They all have legacy control. They all have all the other great features. And diecast or brass, you've got a lot of road-specific details here, which I will do my best to try and summarize pretty quickly so that you can see some of the differences. Starting here with our brass locomotives, the first one up is the 1188. About 1939, 1940, someone in Altoona got on a smoke lifting kick and began applying a variety of experiments, mostly to the K4 class. This is one of those attempts which was actually patterned off of the SP Mountains, and it was the skyline casing from the stack back to the cab on the top of the locomotive. That also necessitated putting the headlight in kind of an odd spot, and she got the heavy cast pilot at the time as well, but didn't get the other normal post-war front end treatments. This one we matched from color photos later in the 1950s of this engine for that era. But yeah, this one definitely sort of speaks to you, Dave, and your SP love.
Streamlining, yep.
Neat engine with all the great post-war details. Interesting though, although it had the cast pilot, it still had again, probably because of the casing, it didn't get the markers up by the top of the smoke box. The markers are still down on the pilot beam here. Next up, I think, is probably my favorite of them, and that is the two different variations we have of the 5399. This one was, none of the K4s ever really got all of the treatments. I think the Pensy's way of, if we're going to try something, we try it here and then we try something else over here. So you had a true result of one change or another. But this one probably got more than most, and they sent it off to Lima in 39 or 40, I think, to rebuild with Franklin poppet valves, and those became the forerunner because they proved so successfully here. They used them on the T1 duplexes later on, so maybe a good bad thing there depending on how you look at it. Easy to overlook that here on these models, but we did do the separate running gear and the separate steam chest on these in die cast to get the correct poppet valve arrangement on that. Lima then took it upon themselves to add the wider, I don't know if we call it semi-streamline, but at least the wider running board edges to this, which really changed the look quite nicely. And then we topped it all off with a front-end throttle, which is the big box that you see around the smokestack. To me, this is about as good as a K4 ever got looking. And then it was modernized in the mid to late 40s. With the front end changes, again, kept the slat pilot this time, but got the smoke box platform and the reversed headlight dynamo positions. So you see that there. So we have this offered in the earlier pre-war paint, which you see the different reds on the tender deck and the cab roof, this tighter spacing Pennsylvania lettering on the tender, and then post-war with the modern front end details and the all green body and wider Pensy lettering. And then last but not least, we've got the 5038, which is just a let's try everything we can to lift the smoke experiment. This is based on its look around 1941. You've got this partial skyline casing over the stack. I think this also had a front end throttle tucked in under there as well, if I remember correct. The giant smoke lifters, not very visible in the virtual art. There's a plate underneath the between the pilot beam and the bottom of the smoke box as well, which adds a little bit more of a fun look to it. And we did this in the early 40s Futura lettering style on there, which is really a great look. You also have the bell relocated under the headlight on this, which is fun.
Just fun to see deflectors on a Pennsylvania loco.
Yeah,
kind of like the S2 we just released.
Yeah, they tried a couple small versions and then went, let's just go big.
Just go big.
And here we go. So real fun look. 425 K4s in the railroad. No two of them really looked the same. So much for standardization. Something to go with these, we have some more of our aluminum 18-inch passenger cars. 4-pack, 2-pack, and Stations Down Diner here. These have the same features as the cars we've been talking about many times over. Your kinematic couplers, detailed interiors with figures, LED lighting, Station Sounds Diner with all of the great station announcements, dining and car announcements, attendance, and so forth in there. The deco scheme on this is also a bit of a mismatch. In 1938, they started the Fleet of Modernism paint scheme designed by Raymond Loewy. He also specified that Futura lettering font like you see on the K4 above it there. Management decided they didn't like the font, so in 1941 they changed over back to the original more Roman style serif font on the equipment, but they kept the extra striping. So this is a 1941 vintage train with the fleet of modernism paint, but the more Roman style lettering, which I don't think we have done previously. So a neat little, now again, something slightly different. Everything's similar, but not in the world of the standard of the world.
Definitely something that you can, pull with more than just the brass hybrid too.
Oh, of course. Any of these brass hybrids, this is your early 40s. So some of our, I don't know, we just released a whole bunch of Vision GG1s.
Yep.
Look real snappy behind that as well. Yeah, you could do lots of things. And with the multiple packs in there, you've got some different options if you want to pair behind diesels or mix and match with other passenger cars, because they never got all repainted at the same time. Continuing on here, now we have our 3 pilot models. We did one each, as we usually do with our brass hybrids. These will be unpainted, just given a clear coat finish to protect the finish of the brass and the die cast, so you don't get tarnishing and discoloration there over time. But really lets you appreciate all the craftsmanship that goes into these locomotives.
Yeah, you can see everything that distinguishes between brass and die cast in these images. Mm-hmm. So it shows you just how much of this is brass handmade versus die cast. So you have the reliability of the die cast frame and gearbox with the beauty of all the extra details cast in brass up top.
Absolutely. And we had some fantasy fun with these too. 3 different what-if paint schemes. The always controversial red K4s, this one with a little bit of extra flair with the Loewy style tender lettering. One with the big smoke lifters and some extra striping based off of some of the streamlined K4 paint schemes that were done. And then one that's kind of a bit of an N&W inspiration. It almost looks like some of the early Polar Railroad things we did way back when, with the Tuscan stripe and the dark green body. I think that one actually looks pretty sharp. Look cool on the passenger train. All right, and then from what if paint schemes in the real world to complete fantasy ones.
You couldn't resist.
I couldn't resist. Sometimes the Burke's in the shop. You need backup steam power for your polar trains. We've got the Polar K4 here, and with next year being America's 250th, it just seemed appropriate to do some variation for our anniversary next year on this locomotive.
Yep. And
we gave the artist sort of carte blanche to pick whichever die cast or brass hybrid version they liked and thought would work best with the deco scheme. And Steve gravitated right towards, again, my favorite. Imagine that. But he did that all on his own. I didn't push and prod at all to get the stars down the running boards and everything. I think that one's going to be a real stunner.
Probably the only thing that would like a lump of coal for Christmas.
I don't know. I always appreciated it.
These also will have the road-specific crew talk.
Yes, and polar dialogue for Polar.
Correct. Well. Yep. Probably something special for America.
I would think so. Come up with something.
Yep.
Ooh, Quilling Eagle. Tracy, Quilling Eagle.
Quilling Eagle. Freedom.
Yes. All right. Now to our diecast versions, which have as much prototype variety as the brass hybrids. We really go through the whole history of the evolution of the K4 here in this run. The first up, starting with the first one, 1737, in its as-delivered appearance. Probably the most obvious thing here is the smaller tender.
Yep.
The early details, including the round number plate and oil headlamp. But easy to overlook is that when these were originally designed, they still had the manual Johnson bar and not the power reverse, which is actually a different tooling change. So this is a different boiler design, and we have this with you'll notice there's no power reverse here on the side of the engine. You've also got the extended piston rods there on the cylinders. So lots of fun, unique details here on this one, and that early 1920s striping everywhere look that people really go for.
Penske guys are really going to have to fill out their roster with all these choices.
Absolutely. I mean, the Penske had 425. So if you buy all of these, you still only have maybe 5% of the fleet.
All right.
It's come on,
got to pump those numbers up.
Yeah. Next up, we have another 1920s version here, 5495. This is your classic early K4 with the standard features and all of the striping. This locomotive, if I remember correctly, went to the Fair of the Iron Horse in 1925. And so a lot of fun details on this one as well. Your more austere 1930s pre-war K4, the lowest numbered of the Ks, number 8, has, again, all the details that you expect, the more simplified Pensy paint scheme now, keystone number plate, projected headlight, slat pilot, your bicolor class lights up on the smoke box and markers on the pilot beam. So those are some fun features there. And then we've got pretty much the same detail set, but with the 1938 to 41 Futuro lettering on the tender. Here for one of those as well. Heading into the post-war years, of course, we're going to do 1361. The paint scheme on this is inspired by its later restoration years and from the photos we've seen so far of the completed tender with the red tender deck and the wide lettering spacing. So we're all looking forward to seeing 1361 come back into life. We've got the polished rods here, so everything's geared up to look nice and spiffy. The other Survivor, 3750, that one's done in a more traditional all green spread lettering, post-war detail. Your more workaday they look for the 3750. And last but not least, we have 5497 here, which is a bit of a hybrid. It got the front end smoke box improvements with the headlight and smoke box doors, but kept the original pilot. There were some that had the opposite as well. But this one had that mix match, which is kind of neat if you're a Pensy guy and you've already got one of those and one of those. Here's another variation to put in there so that you see the different looks around your roster. All right, and then before we depart the Pensy and head west, we've got the Broadway Limited set. Now this looks, if this concept seems familiar, we took what we did for the 1920s, 20th century and copied it for the 1928 Broadway. And the two trains literally raced each other side by side out of Chicago every day. So you could do the same on your layout. All you need to double track main line and these two sets. The Vision Century set should be arriving here in the next month or so. I know they're getting close. Yep. And this one will have very much the same features, just subbing out the diecast K4 for the Hudson. You've got 6 passenger cars here, 4 of which have the different sounds. And you've got the diecast K4 in the 1920s paint scheme again. This will be a little different than the one separate sale in that this will have the Broadway Limited nameplate on the smoke box, obviously, to go with the set. So you'll have that here on this one. In the set behind, we've got the Lounge Sounds Combine car. Quick note, some of these names are changing because we've done some of these cars in the past, so we updated that. If you look at the art itself, you'll see correct. This will probably be updated on our website fairly soon too, but just to call it out here in the version I'm showing, Liberty Cap will actually be Liberty Park. Same car, same paint, same class, just a different name. They had 4 or 6 of these cars to cover the schedules. This one will have the smoking lounge section and dialogue in there, again similar to, but changing train names and a few other little things from the Century dialogue that we did. If you want to look into that more, I encourage you to go back and look at some of our other earlier videos and talking about that set. We have a Sleeper Sounds car as well. This will have the Pullman Porters, the passenger dialogue, conductor dialogue. This one will be the Poplar Dell, not Times Square. 2 additional sleepers, Demosthenes and Zeno, which are not sound equipped but have the full detailed interiors with lighting and figures. Station Sounds dining car with your usual Station Sounds cars that you guys have known for decades now. And last but not least, the observation will be Washington Hall. Again, sister to Federal House, which we did once, maybe 20 years ago in a different deco scheme. But let's keep it interesting for the guys who may already have a Federal House. And this will have another but different set of Lounge Sound dialogue with other patrons and staff members and crew members catering to the customers here in the observation car. If you're a Pensy fan, this is sort of the ultimate edition of the Broadway Limited. If you just like passenger trains, this gives you really, again, one of the first class trains with everything in it. If you just like a train that will keep you busy pushing buttons for hours on end. You can definitely do that with one of these and all the different sound dialogue effects. I think this one's really fun. It may have to go in my shopping cart this year.
And all of these are, as Ryan stated, a lot of these are the new recordings that we've made for the different Porter sounds and whatnot. And all of these sound cars also have the new impact sensor. So, couple up to the train too hard and you're going to make some noise and anger the crew. So a lot of new features in a lot of the new sound cars that we're putting out.
If you want to build a Broadway or expand the Broadway without going the whole set route, we've got separate sale cars available as well. We've got the Station Sounds dining car. We've got a 2-pack with a combine and observation car if you want to do a train. And then we did the Pullman cars. These are all non-sound equipped cars, but we did two packs of Pullman cars. So you could either build up the same train essentially that's in the set, all with different car names, or if you wanted to take your 6-car Broadway and make it 8 or 10 cars, add in some additional Pullmans. Correct for the era here, the cars will all say Pullman above the windows, except for the dining car, which was the only car Penske owned outright in the train. But it was, neat train.
Yeah,
and,
for sure. Good to expand on.
Now that we've hit the Penske guys pretty hard, Dave, it's your turn for all the Southern Pacific fans out there.
Yes, this set is wonderful. I'm excited for this one, Ryan.
This is a what if, but we took the concept of the Southern Pacific's overnight service, which started in 1933, as a way to promote their trucking company and their less than carload freight services with door-to-door service. And then about 1935, we started to see a dedicated train for these, and the single sheath boxcars, the rebuilt boxcars in the special deco schemes. And then those lasted well into the diesel era as a daily train of this express traffic. We took the concept just a little step further and thought, what if we just blacked out the whole train in black and orange and silver, and almost a Halloween look here to it, but
it gives it that whole overnight.
To give it the real nice overnight look. So we took one of our AC9s, which we'll talk about a little bit more when we get to maybe the next spread and see all the AC9s out there. We've made some nice upgrades in that this year as well, and then tricked it out with a bunch of cars in the set. So you get 2 PS1 box cars. One of those will have freight sounds in it. You've got 2 single sheath steel box cars. The one you see in the bottom left corner is the later paint scheme. And then the one at the top is actually an experimental scheme that was proposed. It was never applied, but though it was done in the marketing department as an overlay on the photo of this car, with the original proposed Herald for this with the big wings coming off the side of the SB Herald, and it was just way too cool not to include in the set. As we get further into the catalog, you'll see some additional add-on cars in the simple yet still very cool black and orange paint scheme here as well.
In addition to the piggybacks too, I like.
Addition of the piggybacks too, the train did start picking up piggyback traffic a few years later. Again, we blacked everything out. Went with the black trailers, black flat car, and wrapping it all up with CA1 style caboose, blacked out with the overnight service. Just a neat train. This one will be real fun, I think, to have on the layout.
And we have more cars later in the release to go along with it.
Yes, and also we've definitely done the overnight paint scheme in the past on PS1 boxcars, both the black and silver variations. So very easy set to expand. Give yourself a nice long train.
Nice.
All right, Dave. I know this is one of your babies. Not only as an SP guy, but
cool
we've done a lot with this since its last release, probably about 5 or 6 years ago, maybe more now. We should talk a little bit about some of the fun tooling changes and upgrades we've made.
Yeah, definitely some upgrades over the last version. The switches, is kind of moving into our new standard of having them on top of the locomotive, so you don't have to pick the engine up to reach the switches. So this one will have a nice hatch here in front of the pop-off valve details. So,
Taylor, can you make the camera screen larger so they can see Dave?
So just a lot of good upgrades. It's always nice to take one of the engines that we're rerunning and make modern changes to it. Now these ones have enclosed cabs, so we wouldn't have drop plates on them as per prototype. So We're also doing both variations. So we have the coal and over here, and we have the oil version as well. And like the K4s, these are also getting the force coupler feature in them. So it's actually attached to the rear truck on both locomotives, and again, gives you that labored automatic chuff rate or automatic labor sound effects. And yeah, just an awesome locomotive. Another upgrade that I really appreciate that we do in a lot of our higher end vision locomotives that are articulated especially is the 3-speaker sound system. So we have the addition of a speaker and speaker enclosure in the locomotive, so you get the almost surround sound style sounds of the chuff and the whistles and the bell and the crew talk coming from the appropriate locations, and it just gives a more realistic bassy sound effect. And that's an improvement over the last release as well. So many cool upgrades to this engine, and again, I mean, it's nice just to see basically a cab forward put right. So.
Yeah, it really is sort of a reworked cab forward again with
Yeah.
with the Skyline casing. I think one of the neat features about this too, of course, they have whistle steam, and these have the whistle and horn. So as you toggle back and forth, you have that.
Yep.
The whistle on these is sort of on the side by the stack,
here.
and it's angled. And the way we have the output when you're blowing the whistle, it does sort of angle back, which is a neat effect with these, especially compared to some of the other locomotives where the whistle and the stack are so close they sort of blend together and you lose the effect. You don't really have that problem on the AC9.
Correct. It's pretty awesome.
All right. And as Dave mentioned, we're doing for the first time both the coal-fired and the oil-fired versions. So the oil-fired versions won't have the ash pan details on the engine.
Yep.
And then when they converted these, a lot of them got got hand-me-down tenders as well. And so the versions we're doing here prototypically or fantasy-wise are using the GS style tender. But several different prototypical paint scheme variations here. We've got the as-built, as-delivered version up top here. This will have the polished rods, the nice probably semi-gloss finish on there, give it a real clean, fresh from the factory look. All these as delivered had the Southern Pacific Lines lettering on the tender still. Then the center of the left page here, 3801, we have a little bit more of an in-service early version. Again, coal-fired, early lettering, darkened rods, more matte finish. Not weathered, but easier to start from if you wanted to do that and give that little more workaday look. And then an oil version with the later GS-style tender, the larger Southern Pacific lettering, blackened rods, and the lack of firebox details. So a nice variation there. We've done 3 fantasy schemes for the SP. The last time we did this, we did the sort of early SP lines daylight. So this time we're doing the later Southern Pacific larger lettering GS tender oil fired variation. Same styling for the Golden State, which came along later in SP years, and then the coal version for the Lark inspired two-tone gray. So these would look really awesome pulling some of your daylight, Gold Coast, Lark consoles that we've done in the past with diesels and other engines, or just anything else you may want to run them with.
And it goes well not duplicating the old ones, so you can have multiple on your roster.
All right, and then for fans of big steam, but not necessarily on the SP, we took some what-if approaches here with some railroads that had ordered big Malleys or Challengers, things of that nature, and did one in Rio Grande with the green boiler, Southern, which I think is actually going to be really striking, with the all-green livery, Western Pacific, sort of the GS style there, and then Delaware and Hudson for the East Coast guys. It's a big D&H team. All right, we don't have too much rolling stock, but a couple of fun pieces of scale rolling stock here in the catalog. The 1940s, a lot of railroads started experimenting with aluminum car construction as in the real world as a way to reduce car weight. So we're doing our PS1 boxcars sort of in a tribute to 6 of these. These will be our standard plastic scale boxcar with the simulated metal finish that we use on our what we call our Lionel Special Silver, as we've done on, for example, Santa Fe E units or similar locomotives like that for the body, and then boxcar red or black standoff details as appropriate for the roads. Some of these were used in freight and or passenger service. Also, some of these cars were upgraded with roller bearing trucks at the time, so you'll see a mixture here on these as well of friction or roller bearing trucks underneath the cars. But some interesting paint schemes, something a little bit different in a sea of boxcar red. And then our single sheath boxcars in our Lion scale line. Again, a few less separately applied details, but still a very nice car. Lots of great decoration. 2 road numbers each in all these roads. Of course, at the bottom there you see the Southern Pacific Overnight, the original, very Spartan yet still kind of cool with the orange and black.
Go really well with the set.
Definitely want to get a couple of those to add into your set for sure.
And they are different road numbers than the
yes, of
cars
course.
in the set. So.
I want you to buy them all, Dave. All right, let's talk traditional world.
Yeah, this is really exciting. We're bringing back the Jet RDCs. It's been a minute since we've done the Black Beetle, so excited to bring that one back. I don't know who thought it was a great idea to stick huge rockets on the top of the train, but I'm really glad that they did.
A genius.
Yeah, they're awesome. We have the New York Central, Santa Fe. Had a little fun with Pennsylvania scheme as well, and did a general version. And the Blitzen Express route, which I think is a really fun Christmas scheme on these. These will have all the great LC 2.0 features, and the lighted rocket on the top makes it a really fun and unique thing to put on your layout.
Yep, and the lighted exhaust on the rockets, those will be tied to the speed of the locomotive as well. So faster you go, the more rocket thrust you get.
That's cool.
Yep.
Yeah, these are going to be really fun. And again, great. I think some great schemes there. To have even more fun, how can we not throw some licenses on these? The Looney Tunes Acme Jet RDC, I think it is so fun. With that real like Southwestern theme on it. Tripp and our creative department had a lot of fun with this. This is not anything that we have done before in the Looney Tunes type of scheme there, but the Canyon Cannon.
The Canyon Cannon.
Just imagine the types of sound effects we're going to put in there. You have Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote running through the engine there. I think this one is going to be super fun and again, very different than what we've done before with all the Acme and Looney Tunes stuff.
Very cool.
And then how could we not do Star Wars in these? We were really inspired by the helmets of The Mandalorian and Boba Fett. And we had a lot of fun kind of trying to embody the characters themselves. What if they were a locomotive? And I think both of these schemes here with just little extra detailing, I think they're really fun. They're going to be a hit. This is the way, of course, that we have to have fun with these Jet RDCs.
With some cool sound effects.
Cool sound effects in these. And then just a really classy Star Wars Ewoks boxcar. They're the cutest little guys. And this car is really fun. It's got the roof printing on it. It's got a lot of really fun detail. And it is a Musa boxcar. So it'll be printed assembled in the USA.
I'm excited for the Ewoks.
Yeah, they look great.
I already told Megan that's one of my favorite cars of the pieces in the whole catalog is that Ewok car. Yeah, so next up we have some conventional bump and go trolleys, both giving one a gentle nod to the US 250 and one a bit more of a forceful fantasy nod. So up top we have a US postal trolley. This is actually in St. Louis and Merrimack. So back in the time when these trolleys were used for this particular service, it just became more efficient, especially for busy towns, and much more efficient than necessarily having to have a train or train cars and horse-drawn carriages and cars even, which can you imagine how far we've come. But really sharp look here, some nice silhouettes in the windows there, the interior illumination you've come to expect, and a nice gold roof finish there as well. And below, a very sort of in-your-face but super American celebration trolley. We could not do this, and had a lot of fun. Again, you look inside, you see window silhouettes, and who are they? The probably most iconic figures that our country has known, or a handful of them at least. And of course, we couldn't not do an eagle in the window as well. That would have just been a miss. But love these. Very quick around the layout. If you've never had a trolley, you're really in for a treat. Highly suggest you start with one of these.
absolutely. I love the Liberty Bell.
Yes.
And of course, the postal trolley does have the trolley poles on top. It's not showing up in the art here on this one, but
Yes.
They'll all have the trolls.
yeah.
Yeah.
Trolley poles. Trolley pole. Troll. I just invented a new thing.
There you go. Great. Speaking of fun things, everyone's been having a lot of fun with Area 51 on their railroad layouts recently. We showed some Star Wars versions of the Phantoms in previous release and wanted to bring it back again one more time to throw Area 51's paint scheme on it. This will have the all-new underbody glow on it, this time in purple. Again, what if the aliens themselves had their own train? It would probably be this. This one also has a separate sail add-on coach, again, with the underbody glow on that as well. Add a few of these. I think it'll be a really nice consist to keep in your Area 51 layout.
I think the underbody glow really is a nice step up on these and helps give it that extra something.
These locomotives are fun and futuristic, and how could you not add some fun extra details on there? The underbody glow is really unique.
Yeah.
And sounds.
And great sounds, always.
UROs, unidentified railroad objects.
There you go.
Ooh, I like that.
All right. Well, we are heading into Halloween. As part of our October release, we thought this would be a great time to share some things. Normally, we hold our Halloween things until the beginning of the year in C1, the big catalog. But with these earlier releases and staggered out releases, it gave us an opportunity to get a little bit of a jump on some things. Megan didn't protest at all, but I'm going to steal the stage first with some of the fun scale offerings that we have in here with another AC9, this one for the Twilight Limited. When you look at that face, it definitely says this is something we should do a Halloween locomotive for. The coal-fired variation here, of course, this will have some great Halloween-specific sounds and quilling howls and screams and stuff like that. We always have fun on the Halloween engines. We also had a lot of requests coming out of Volume 1 for some matching passenger cars to go with the Flying Dutchman version of our Commodore Vanderbilt locomotive. These should fit the bill very nicely, although they, I think, would also look great with some of the other Halloween locomotives we've released in the past, including the AC9, if you so choose. These are 18-inch passenger cars. Again, all the standard features here, interiors with figures, and then the multicolor glow-in-the-dark effect, which matches the color scheme on the Hudson from earlier this year to give you just as much fun at night as during the day. Really excited for these.
It's really going to glow the whole train.
Yeah. That would look pretty sick, actually.
You guys would get like a fog machine so that it's going through in a fog. Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, we're going to go to Megan's house and play with this one.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Spooky season is here, and we have a really great passenger set for our Lion Chief set fans with the Lunar Limited. This has the great 460 locomotive. We'll have, the Halloween themed sounds. What's really cool about this set, it will have one of the coach cars in it that will have a looping sound effect, flickering lights in it, similar to what we've done in our Hogwarts with our Dementor's coach. I think it's a great addition to the Halloween lineup. Got that really cool, like deep, spooky Halloween purple, feeling really classic out of the 1900s with the really fun window silhouettes, and again, great sounds. A lot of detail packed onto the deco for this set, and includes as a separate tail piece an add-on passenger coach if you want to grow the consist. We also have some great just separate tail rolling stock pieces as well, with a fast freight Halloween transport car. It has the simulated boxes and the windows there, all kind of nodding to different fun brands and spooky things that we've done on other pieces of freight. It has the ELX in the windows. It has all kinds of different fun nods to other products that we've done in there. And then bringing back the illuminated hopper with the cauldron. Think of Witch's Cauldron and what she might be brewing up in there with the green LED lighting on the load for that.
Very cool.
All right. Well, up top there to the left, we actually have something very new and different. It is with the Halloween items because it is truly a bit more somber and creepy, but also because it has a historical bend to it. So we thought, why not actually create a funeral trolley, a trolley that would have been used for these services? Again, not just for U.S. mail service or other use, but actually to carry the loved ones and deceased to the inevitable destination.
Yeah, there's actually prototype basis in this. There were several of these around the turn of the century. If you have seen photos of city streets at the time jammed with horse carriages, motor vehicles, pedestrians, and this was really a not only more efficient but more dignified way to get from funeral home or church to burial site. And so there were some dedicated funeral trolleys in a lot of these major cities that had this, and we took inspiration from some of those designs for the detailing on the car body. It's ornate but yet simple, and some appropriate silhouettes inside as well. So I think this one's actually kind of neat, just because I like those sort of random, weird, quirky parts of railroad history facts, and this one definitely falls into that niche category.
And a nod there in the name, Karen, to an actual mystical Greek figure of death, really. So a little bit of a nod there to keep it a little creepier.
Yeah, the deco's dead on.
There it is, folks.
There it is.
All right. Fun accessory to add to your layout. We have the witching yard. We reimagined the sawmill as an operating broom factory. This comes with the logs. Logs go in one side and come out the other side as boxes of witches' brooms. We'll have great looping sound effects. This is plug, expand, play. Has that moving sawmill in the middle of the building there. And I like at the top there, it's kind of like the witch's head on the top.
That is cool. I didn't even notice that until you said it. That's cool.
Yeah. Lots of little details. Have the interior will be decorated up and kind of looks like a factory inside there, but like a medieval spooky factory inside.
I think these broom factories will fly off the shelves.
I hope so.
All right, we've got a couple more scale pieces here, some freight equipment that could go with, oh my gosh, almost anything. I do love the Transylvania Railroad TOFC car. It's a fly-by-night company. Really neat graphics, and there was some fun punningisms on this one. This is like all of our scale PS1 flat cars. You've got diecast body, wood deck, separately removable trailers there with a lot of separately applied parts, rubber tires, the open doors, the whole 9 yards, drop plates. Really well detailed car, a lot of fun and value. And then a Whispering Rails CA1 caboose as well, to bring up the end of some of these great concepts with all of the detailing.
Very cool.
All right, and we are pleased to offer some printed and assembled HO boxcars. Here, you've probably, if you've seen our previous catalogs, seen these designs before, but we are actually still celebrating the 80th anniversary of the battles of Iwo Jima and Okinawa, and also the U.S. Army's 250th anniversary this year. So really nice, just a nod again to also ramping up for our Ultimate America celebration. These do have the metal trucks and couplers and frame that you would you come to expect and enjoy, and also like the level of detail we've been able to achieve with the deco is really awesome.
Yeah, I think the big news here is that you're seeing now for the first time the coming of our in-house production also beginning to be able to encompass HO scale items as well. So this is just the first of what will soon be a much larger HO product line here, completed in-house as we head into 2026. We're very excited for that. Some new fixtures, some new opportunities, new challenges as we miniaturize things, but we'll be able to deliver that same photo quality beauty onto the cars here in HO scale, and very much looking forward to adding some of these to my HO lineup. All right. Well, that wraps up all of our exciting announcements for October. As mentioned, we hope to see some of you in Milwaukee at Train Fest in a few weeks, or head out to your dealers on December 6th for National Lionel Train Day. Make sure you're getting your votes cast for the Lennies, for your favorite fans out there. It's an award all about all of you, and we appreciate you all celebrating that with us as we wrap up our 125th anniversary here this year. We are heading into everybody's favorite time of the year, into train season. So we wish you all happy modeling and happy rails and good times with family and friends, and start getting those layouts set up. It's time to start running trains.
That's right.
Woo-hoo.
Woo-hoo.
Thank you,
Thanks,
everybody.
everyone.
We'll see you down the track.